Okay, today we're going to do a review of Waspinator. This is the thrilling 2014 Transformers Generations Waspinator. I'm a little behind doing this video, but one of the reasons I am doing this now is because in Tucson anyway, in Walmart, I have still been seeing these guys on the shelves. They must have had some extra inventory they've been pushing through. So this is May of 2015, and even though this guy's released in 2014, I'm still seeing him around. And I gotta say, this is one of my favorite Generations characters. Alright, so you can see one thing that I think is so striking about him is the great color scheme, and then you have this nice comic behind, but you have pretty much the same matching. You know, sometimes you see them slightly off or something. This one looks really, really good, and it's really fun transformation. So let's get into the packaging first. As you can see, normally we have the same thing. It says Thrilling 30, which is kind of a cool little thing that, you know, it's been 30 years from Transformers. I remember being a kid and watching Transformers, so it's a long time for me. We see Waspinator, Predacon. Again, you can see that he comes with his Transformers Waspinator comic book from IDW. If we flip them to the back, you can see his specs here, and oh, they're okay. I'm actually surprised that they have his strength so high as an 8. You would think, being a little wasp, that it might be a little less, but maybe he's got a really good stinger. Anyway, so this is a great Transformer. You can kind of see this little brown tab right here. We'll get into that in a little bit. But it actually has a working mechanism for the wings. And I never had the Beast Wars, so I don't know if that was carryover or not. But this is pretty cool. And you can see with the toy. And this guy is so poseable. So let's go ahead and get into him. So I'm going to take this out just quickly. Here's the Waspinator comic book. When you open to the front page, I'm not going to go to the back, so I don't want to spill any secrets, but there's Waspinator right in the front. Looks like he's over here. He's drinking at a bar to begin with. But this is pretty cool. It has some interesting characters. Obviously, there's Optimus Prime, and it has some people that are people that know the comic books. You'll see there's some non-Transformer characters as well. So anyway, it's a pretty good read. It's a nice little comic book. I really enjoy getting the comic books, and I'm glad they're continuing with them all the way through the Combiner Wars series they're doing now. So if we take him out, again, you have your normal construction booklet. We don't need to go through this because that's why this is a video review, because we're not going to use that. So put that off to the side. Put this off to the side. Okay, so in package, here we have Waspinator, and we have his stinger. So let me go ahead and pull Waspinator out. Now, he is, as I mentioned before, this guy is super poseable. He's great. He can put him pretty much any pose. And you see how easy it was to sand him up straight out the box. So here's his little stinger. It holds down here as a gun. You can shoot that at you right now. And when he's in the wasp form, obviously this pulls up, and then this is going to be the back of his. This will sit into him, and that's his stinger coming out. So it's pretty cool. I almost wish they would have made this part kind of glow in the dark. I think that would have been a neat little touch. It's not all that different. I remember back in the day there were glow in the dark posters that came with some of the figures after the movie that came out. And anyway, it's pretty cool. So this one is just clear plastic. You know, I mean, kind of an opaque plastic. It's the same plastic I think his wings are made out of. However, with his wings, there you can almost see it right there. See the iridescent on the outside of his wings? The wings are really pretty. I mean, they actually look like a actual insect wings, and I'm not sure how well that can cap. There you can see it kind of looks blue by my finger there. Anyway, the wings are fantastic. So here you go. You got the nice little symbol back here. You know, he's not just an Autobot or Decepticon. You know, he kind of has that Beast Wars symbol for the bad guys. And again, like I mentioned before, this guy is super poseable. So before I show you the transformation, let's go ahead and look at how he can move. So head can look up, down, all around. Again, it's got light piping here in the back. So you can see this is all clear plastic, which comes through his eyes. And so that's obviously a great little touch. I don't know if you can tell, but like with a lot of the Beast Wars, they were trans metals. You know, they were kind of, you know, had that cool little shimmer to them. His eyes right here, and you can see it kind of here in the camera, that they're a little shiny as well. So this is just kind of split open right here. All right, so you got the arms. Arms are on a swivel. Can move over all around. You have another swivel. You can see there's a ball joint right there, so you can move this in any direction. So you can move this one again, obviously it's the same arm in any direction, and the same with the hand. So the hand is just a swivel, but you can turn it any way you want it to go. All right, one thing this does not have is it does not have waist articulation, and that's because you can see right here underneath this, like say I break that open, see that folds into right there. So you cannot swivel his waist. That's the only thing you can't do. However, with the leg, ball joint, you can move anywhere around. He's got a knee joint up and down, and then his feet are not on a ball, they're just kind of on a rotator. So you can move this here back and forth. You can kind of give him some ankle tilt if you need to. I mean, ankle downward tilt, not sideways tilt. But again, this guy can pretty much be put into any pose. It's really not all that difficult. You know, let's go ahead and lower this just a little bit. Move this up. There we go. Get a little closer of a view here. Okay, so let's look at him with some size comparison. So here is, oops, stand back up. All right, so here is Cosmos, the new Cosmos, which is a fantastic redo if you want a real Hasbro Cosmos. So you can see he's a good, you know, he only comes up to his waist right here. So it's a pretty big size difference there, and that's even with his feet spread apart here. So if I make him stand up straight, give him his little gun to hold. There you go. You can see how big he is compared to that. So that's pretty good. Here he is compared to G1, one of the Dinobots. Again, you can see, so he's pretty good size figure. He's decent size. So let's go ahead and look at the transformation now. So transformation of this guy is actually quite fun, and there's some, you can really pose him again when he's in the Wasp as well. So first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to break this part open. So you can fold this all back, and you can just kind of decide what side you want to do first there. I like to do the head first. So for the head, it's the same thing. You're going to pop this up. This head piece, squeeze it back together, and you see how I did this? This is how he's going to be in robot mode. Open this whole thing up, put the head back, and squeeze it back together. There you go. So now he kind of looks like he's a flying little moth or wasp right now. So let's go ahead and leave it like that. We'll do the arms last. Now you're going to want to take this part, rotate it back here, and you can already see how it's going to fit, right? So you can already see that this is going to go in here. You can see how this lines up just perfectly, right, like that. So now the only thing you'll see when I get this together here, there's only one thing I'm really, and you can go ahead and we'll put the stinger in now. There's only one thing that I'm really not a huge fan of, and that just folds up and it just clips back in here. You can see there's a little groove slot for it right there, and that goes in right here, just like that. So that's already pretty much halfway done. Now, these parts of the feet, the back parts of the feet, you fold them up together, and this whole thing is going to fold up like this, and it's going to tab into these little tabs right here. See that little tab right there? That's going to tab into this little hole on the foot. Sorry, I went out of focus there. All right, so this comes all the way up, and you tab it in, bring the yellow, oops, I missed. Bring the yellow one up, tab in as well. Okay, so that's tabbing. This is the only thing I'm not a huge fan of. So if you look at it down like this, it looks pretty good, but the feet just stick there. That is the way they go. Oops, didn't have this in far enough. So you have to kind of play with this. This is on the hinge. This doesn't really clip in anywhere, so you just have to kind of play with it until it fits correctly. So let's go ahead and get his feet back in. And he's kind of a jumbled mess until you put the arms in, and then the arms really solidify the whole figure. Okay, so now you can see we have this all together, and what we do now is the arms, they're kind of on this rotator piece right here. So you can see here's the little hinge right there. So what you do is you rotate that in, and Then over here, let's get that leg out of the way. You can see there's a little slot here and a little slot here. That is going to be this little peg and that little peg. Stick that in there, stick this in here, turn the hand down a little bit. And that's one side, okay? So now do the same thing over here. I'm going to fold down that piece, rotate the arm, and same thing. You're going to peg into here and into there. You can see that, and I didn't even do this on purpose, but you can see they lined up right away. So put those in, tighten the whole thing up. Now that he's the thing, we're going to have to fix a little bit of pieces. So you can fix the wings, fold those down, fold the legs back, these legs forward. Same thing on this side. Fold that leg back, this leg forward. You can play with it a little bit to get them just the way you want. And I don't know if anybody here, this is coming from Tucson, Arizona, so I don't know if anybody is around yellow jackets, but when I lived in New Jersey, they were everywhere. And this reminds me of a yellow jacket. I mean, this is a great bug design. I mean, it looks really good. I guess, yes, you see the stuff underneath here. And the only thing, like I said, I don't like is this. Not a big fan of the feet sticking out right there. But from the side, it's not all that noticeable. I mean, he's a bug, so it's not like it's a car where we can hide everything underneath the hood. But it's a really great transformation. So let's see what this does now. So you have the two antenna up here. They don't move at all. But the legs, this is on a ball joint. This is on a ball joint inside of the plastic. You can move this any way you want. Same with the other side. This one is just on a swivel. Let's see, can you see it right there? Yeah, that's just on a swivel, so you can't do that much there. But you can really get really good with the poses. You know, some insects fly out like this, you know, so if he's flying, you want to hang him, you know, you can put all the, you know, stuff like that. You know, some of them, I've seen some insects that like to fly like this, so you could do that. But if you just want them to sit, like most people do, you can have them just sit like that. Now, let's get to the mechanism. The mechanism is pretty cool. So you just hold him here by the back, kind of like you would, kind of like a gun almost. Put your finger underneath here, and you just move this, put your thumb here, and pull back. And you can see, it's really good action. It's great, actually. So, anyway, so that's pretty cool. All right, so now that he's transformed into his bug mode, let's go ahead and take a look at him back compared to some of the other guys. So here, we'll bring him back out. You can see, fairly decent size comparison. Obviously, I think he's a little bit bigger. Slug, whatever. Can't remember his name. You want to keep calling Grimlock, but obviously that's wrong. You can see a little bit bigger. This guy's a little bit more meaty. But again, this is a bug we're talking about, or an insect, excuse me. There is a difference. So this is Waspinator in all of his glory. And again, I think he's a great figure because you can just pose him and move him in so many different ways. He really hides everything pretty well underneath, and the color scheme is fantastic. I mean, look at the color scheme. It looks like an insect. So let me go ahead and transform him back one more time. So when you're transforming him from this back to the robot form, I think it's easier transforming from this to the robot form, and that's just because, like most of them, you just pull it all apart and it comes apart. So take out the stinger. Opposite, obviously it's the reverse. Pull out the arm, lift it up here on the hinge. Same thing on the other one. Arms are done. Pull the legs out. Okay. And this right here, you'll see that this is going to have to be switched around. So you can push this whole thing back on this hinge, bring this like this, swivel it. His legs are kind of backwards, so you have to go ahead and pull this piece out. Same thing here. Go ahead and hide the legs, the insect legs up on the side. All right, so his legs are clear. Now you have to bring his head out, which is easy. You just unfold it, push his body back in, and then you can see this comes down right here. There's a little groove right in here, which is where this piece goes. So you push that in, fits perfectly. Legs down, bring out the arms. And, oops, move these legs out of the way, and that's it. I have Waspinator again. And you can play with the wings however you want. You know, I think most people just kind of have them dangling down. And if he wants to hold his little stinger weapon, then that's what he'll do. And we're good. So like I mentioned before, this guy is super posable. Sorry, I have him at an angle here. It is just a great little figure. One of my favorites from this Generations line. Like I said, I was never a huge fan of the Beast Wars, but this guy is fantastic. Nothing else really bad to say. Again, we can look at the paint apps quickly. A lot of paint on this guy. Painted yellow here, painted yellow on the inside of his arm for the insect mode. Painted yellow on the head. Again, we have this kind of a metallic-y, what's it called? I think that's actually periwinkle. Sorry, don't give me a hard time on the message board because I know that that's periwinkle, but I believe that is periwinkle blue. Kind of a lavender blue. On the back, you have you have this light green here, which is what the actual plastic is, and you have this painted on darker green. This plastic right here is that same darker green, but it's the actual plastic. Again, you just have some great color schemes here. So anyway, that is my review of Transformers Generations Waspinator. If you have a chance to pick them up, I would highly recommend it. At the end of this, well, this is the end, but it would be great if you could click a like on here, and if you want to, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'll be bringing up lots more Transformer reviews as I work my way through the collection, starting with most of the newest characters. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, post a comment and I will answer probably within a few days or so. All right, thanks a lot and have a good one.